next one is revenue. I guess that's the miscellaneous revenue. Almost $500,000, 440 increase from 200 to 640
You're on page 8?
on page
Page
9.
nine.
On page 9, on top of page 9. I'm sorry, Councilwoman. Top of page 9, 640 to, so the increase of 400,000.
Yes, those are, well, that's just
The-
lots of small revenues. We can get you the list, the
Okay,
detailed
please.
list.
Thank you so much. Okay, so I guess the revenue last year, the 69 and the 74 now, so it's a difference of 5 million. Am I right?
Yes.
5 million. So, which is good, because that's projection and all that. Now, how do we want to do the expense? I'm on page, Mayor and Council on page 12. The one thing that I'm going to say about, strongly disagree with decreasing the what they call it, the discretionary fund down to 40, and I mentioned that to you because, as I stated, everybody here represent different constituency, and Councilman Galvin is loaded with money, and that's good because he use it very wisely, and I respect that. I may not have the same leisure as he does, but I gotta respect what he does because his folks elect him to do his job. So I do not want people to dictate or to tell me how I should spend the same taxpayer who are giving some money into this budget as well. You have your discretionary, you don't wanna spend it, that's fine. You wanna spend it on your capital project, your trees, I will respect that. I don't get involved in that, Mr. Manager. There's not once I ever come and have a meeting with you and I mention about any other elected official, how they spend, how they run their office, because that's not my business. Their constituent elect them to do their job. I respect that. Now, we could look at the budget overly, and as we talk about, we want to be fiscally responsible, that's fine, and I respect all of my colleagues to make recommendations, because there are some real concerns that I have, but discretionary funds of $74,000 is not one of the problem that I see here. Again, if somebody want to spend their money, or if you don't want to spend it, like Councilman Galvin, who's rich, with his constituent XM, that I don't have that luxury, and that's fine, and I respect that. And because I may have to ask Councilman Galvin to borrow.
I knew you were about to say that.
No, but I don't need them. But I'm just saying, I respect that, and the constituent needs to understand that. The people who are emailing or questioning, we represent different folks, we represent different interests, we represent different organizations. Do not think that people are giving money to illegals, to whatever that you want to think. That's not the case. There is a process, it's transparent. You may not agree on something that I'm doing. By all right, you have the right to disagree with me, and I understand that. We had an election, I did not get 100% of the vote, which I respect, but I got the majority, so let's deal with that. So, and everybody here respectively did the same thing. So everybody answered to their own constituency, that's fine. So I totally oppose that 70,000, 77, whatever it is. If a commissioner does not want their funds, I'll be more than happy to take it. If they want to put it in whatever they want to put it, that's fine. I'm all for it in terms of that. But getting into the meat and thing of this particular budget, I reviewed all of this, and you gave me the only questions that I have with the mayor and council is this miscellaneous expense, which is the 45,000. It went from 77 to 45,000. That's my particular thing with this particular budget. Going to city clerk. I would like to see a little bit more for advertising, especially if we're talking about bringing in 200,000 for Passport, because we had it from 2016 when the budget was, when we were not doing good. Their expense in, I'm sorry, city manager, because we're in the city manager. I went a little bit over to city clerk. So page 15. On page 15, my concern again, Mr. Manager, was the salary. There is an increase in salary in your office from a difference of, and I need that explanation, of almost $1 million. I'm sorry, not a million, not a million.
Congratulations on that raise.
Probably from the 4.5 million. No, from 850 to 889. I don't want to go to the specific because we went into the specific when we met. I don't know how that's going to be respond, but that's one of the concerns that I have. In terms of the personnel, in that there is so that's my first question, is the explanation to the increase in your office, Mr. Manager.
My salary line item, that's just the effect of the 2% COLAs
Okay,
and the merits.
okay.
That's all that's there. If we go through my net, I think the biggest number that's new to my budget this year, actually, no, it was there last year. I was gonna say emergency management, but overall, my budget did increase by a net of about 200,000, and all of that is associated with the census, the increase in the census funding.
Okay. I don't personally think that we need a census, whatever, coordinator. I think you have a committee, you have different community folks that's doing that. That's just my little 2 cents into it. Because I know in the past you had Dr. Claude, whoever was the that position, they were that person, so that would be that. So there is an increase there. So I understand that, but that's just one thing I guess I have for tonight. So we'll leave that alone. And I guess we'll on the second round we'll see how we're gonna address that. City clerk, which I mentioned, the 10,000 for advertising. I don't know how with the notices and stuff that we need to get out. We went from 83, 58, 60 to 10, which I don't think a lot of us agreed with that amount. So I don't know what can be done. We could adjust. Okay, perfect.
There's no adjustment. Anything in the budget have to be on a vote.
Okay, so
There's
what
no
would be the
adjustment.
amount?
We don't, wait.
I can address it. All I'm saying is I will address it via my conversations with you.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that's,
So, Mr. Mayor, but it's important, I think you said something, so how are we doing this? Because I remember one year, we did it up here.
no, the way we,
So how you
no,
want
you
us to
can,
do it?
you can
So
do
do
your
we make,
exposure, do
we want you to
everything.
give us?
No, you talk about the budget,
Okay.
whatever you want, and after that, anything we are going to change, gonna go to a vote. We're gonna come
Okay.
back, do
With-
everything.
But they have to balance it, so do you want with their?
We're
back
not
and
there
forth?
yet.
Okay. Okay, so we just put out what we would like.
What
that
did
what
you
you
see in
want?
the budget? You,
Okay. So
and
do
then
you,
after that,
Well,
we're
can I
gonna
add
come
one
to a
thing
vote.
to that procedurally? So, because you have two considerations, what is the vote? The vote
Consideration and
tonight,
why.
Mr. Attorney, the vote tonight. Then
Don't worry, don't worry, I
Okay.
know what I'm, don't worry,
Okay.
like,
Okay.
yeah.
no, yes, and
Yes, go
because in the past, Mr. Manager, we have where we did it up here, and in some past, I think last year worked out.
yeah,
where
last year where we worked.
we accepted
together.
your
Yeah, we're gonna
recommendation.
change it.
Okay,
No,
got it.
we
So
can
do you
go-
want us to give numbers or what?
No, not
or
numbers.
yet?
What
Okay,
are you talking about
gotcha.
numbers?
I'm sorry? I'm sorry,
Do your
Mr. Attorney?
presentation and
No,
then,
he's saying something. Oh, okay, to you, okay.
okay.
Okay, so I would like to see it in the increase. I'm not giving any numbers, and I'll leave that up to you.
Increase
Thank
on
you.
what?
on the advertising for the clerk's office.
What line is
No,
that?
anything you gotta do, it's gonna be a
That's what
vote
I'm saying.
after that, when we're done with
Okay.
everything. After
After
Councilwoman.
Okay, got it. We will-
And
I
then
got
me,
you.
then after that, whatever it is gonna come to a vote.
Got it, got it. Okay,
Okay.
going real quick, the election. Okay, well, if we're listening, I just want to make sure.
But as far as the advertising, it never been $80. And
No, it was
there's a difference when
80,000.
it's
Yeah.
election year, when it's not election. There's
No,
a
no, no,
difference.
not the election. It was 80 in 2016, 83,
Listen,
58, 60.
listen, it's always been $60,000.
Okay, that's
the
fine.
rest is when we have election or something
Oh,
else.
okay.
We're
I
gonna
don't-
come to it, huh?
Okay, got it.
Can we get a
Wait,
breakdown of what's in?
listen, I
can we
know,
get a
I
breakdown
know
of-
the line item, I'm the one that put it, don't worry. When it comes to this, we're gonna come to it.
Could-
It's always been, it was 40, then 60,
You were
and
saying,
I
I would
put
like-
it 60. We're gonna work on it, don't worry.
Okay.
Yes, go
Councilwoman,
ahead.
you were
Yeah.
saying something.
I would like to see a breakdown of the actual 2018 and what the advertising was for.
It was 10,000.
But what line are you on?
Can we,
I'm
can we,
sorry. I'm on page 19.
now it's, Councilman,
Yeah, but
Page
it's
19, line item, I guess,
The third from-
code 318.
Yeah, so last year, the actual was 60,000.
It wasn't
the-
60, it was 10.
No, the actual for
Is-
2018 was 60, and the budget was 10,000. What I'd like to do is see what the actual for 2018 was, and maybe
That's
what the
218,
actual
but
to
I'm talking about
date.
219.
we've been spent,
But
it's,
you're not letting me just ask a question with regard to that. I would like to see what the actual expenses in line 318 is for the year 2017-18, and year-to-date from 2018 to today. I'd like to see what the actual amounts was and what it was spent to see.
A
If we
detail.
need it for legitimate reasons, then I'm happy to vote for it. I
Okay.
just want to see it before I just give a
Got it.
blanket 60,000.
Got it. Okay, elections, so we contemplating nothing, so that's why it's there, right, Mr. Manager? Got it.
that's
got
why
it.
it's not there.
Yeah, no, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying, there's nothing there. Okay, finance, explanation on, I guess it's the same thing that Ms. Brown was mentioning, and then you said it's the COLA went up because of the 2%, et cetera, because all of these have been going up. Administration total, the annual independent auditing, so about 10,000 increase. Just a quick explanation, Mr. Manager?
That's the contractual increase we're expecting for the
That we
audit, for the audit services.
Okay, that's for, okay. This, okay. The business tax receipt, that's that, okay. I am going to page, I'm moving real fast, 25. The vehicle, that's my biggest thing. The vehicle, last year was 5,800, and this year's 49,000. On 25 vehicle, field operation, utility vehicles. 49, you see it on page, 25? Let me go, right here. Masha.
Which line?
25 even more. It's the third line, actually fourth line, building operate, utility building field operation total. Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
It's for the,
The code is 441.
yes, 49,200 from 5,800. And
Okay.
that's for the vehicles that are used by the department in utility billing.
Okay, well, my question is, are we getting new vehicle?
No,
Because,
prior to, before we took over, now we have the vehicles that are used to go around and read the water meters. These are those vehicles, the costs associated with it, gas, everything that's associated with the vehicles. We didn't have it budgeted before. We had took it over the year before. It wasn't in the budget.
so where
Now
was
all
it
of the fees are
before?
budgeted now. Remember, it was an outside contractual thing before. The city never did it ourselves.
Okay.
Now we do it ourselves. This is the first year that it's gonna actually be showing up in the budget for the vehicles, for the maintenance costs and everything.
And it's an allocation.
Yeah.
Our fleet, all the fleet is in one.
Yes,
place,
sir.
the allocation.
Well, Miguel Augustin, Finance Director. Previously, the employees were using their own vehicles and getting mileage reimbursement. So when Code got new vehicles, we got their vehicles, so now they're part of the fleet, so that's why we have that cost.
So it's about 40,000 more we're
Right, because
expecting.
it's not a cost that we had last year. We didn't have the city vehicles. They were using their own vehicles last year.
Okay. Alrighty then. Okay, lien and collection process, line 405, which is, I think that's the same thing I had mentioned to you, Mr. Manager. Ms. Meir and yourself and I need to meet on these, because I have to get a better understanding of the risk management, purpose. Marsha? Yes, okay. Okay, so it's just $5,000 increase. Well, $4,000 increase for that line item, the risk liability, general liability.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
City attorney. We talked about one item in this particular budget, Mr. Manager, in the city attorney, because it's only one page. We did discuss one item, not the legal thing, that's fine, I understand the contractual services, but one particular item in reference, so I think we'll talk to the city attorney when we meet, regarding that. Personnel, I didn't have anything in personnel. The only thing is I just want to make sure, which I think Ms. Morgan, either Ms. Morgan or Arthur did confirm, so that the reimbursement is there, because it wasn't here, but the reimbursement, the tuition reimbursement, 319, it is there at 50. So we good with that, correct? Okay, information technology went up tremendously. A difference of, I guess, 5,000, so not really too bad.
Which page?
Page 29.
Thank you.
I'm sorry,
That's
I'll
okay.
remind to put the page
Trying to follow.
29. Explanation?
You talking about a salary, sir?
Yes, sir.
Those are just the contractual increases.
Okay, with the,
You mean the 198 to the 206?
yeah,
Yeah, that's just the contractual, the
that's
the
added to
COLAs
that.
and the merits, yeah.
Okay. The other, okay, 142, okay, that's fine. And then I guess the graphic support went to your office. Is
Yeah,
that why it's blank?
So we combined communications, so you have graphic support with PIO.
As well as admin.
And the webmaster, all in our
Okay.
office.
All right. We're moving on page 31. At the bottom, almost a $30,000 increase in network operation for equipment or lease equipment. And then there's one of a couple thousand right below that for, I guess that's the risk management. This is maintenance and operation of equipment.
Those are,
From 61 to, it's a 20-something $1,000 increase. And then the computer equipment from one, so I guess that went up, actually.
well, the
No,
overall
it actually
budget
went
stayed
down.
static.
Yes, I know.
So, but the maintenance and operations of equipment, those are maintenance agreements that we have, contractual agreements.
Yes.
So you have those
Because this
increases
one,
there.
the overall total went down, so I
Yeah.
didn't too much, when I went line by line, I looked at that, but I wanted to see the big increase. Police, page 33. Again, salary increase from 738 to 800. Is that the,
In what division, sir?
page 33, police,
Oh, I'm sorry, police.
101, yes.
That's in the chief's office. Do we have I don't think we had a person there, so it's probably contractuals as well.
It's almost 50.
Yeah, yeah.
What is that?
Did we have a personnel increase in there? No, so yeah, that's just the contractual increases, sir.
Okay.
And total
That
salary-
I
total
think if we're looking at everything, this is something that we need to look at, and see how we could manage that, because also, 306 account went up tremendously, also almost 11 grand.
Dues and memberships,
Mhm.
and we can get you a breakdown of that.
Okay, because the other one is the equipment rental.
Same division, sir?
So it's 200,000, about 200,000 up.
Oh, the total budget.
I mean, I was giving you the line by line item, but overall it's about not, well, yeah, almost 200,000 up.
We'll get a breakdown. I see outside wages is the biggest increase in that individual, but in
Okay.
that division.
Okay, since there's nothing in HR on page 34, we're moving down to this uniform thing. Is that, let me ask the chief, through you, Mr. Manager. These, are these separate unit within the department? Because that's the biggest expenditure that we have. If we're looking at everything, I don't want us to only talk about the council office and raise, let's just do a whole thing of this. So what is the uniform patrol?
Uniform Patrol are Chief Larry Juriga.
Yes.
Uniform Patrol are the men and women who are out 24/7.
Okay, so let's not even touch those. Don't even touch those. Those are the ones that I'm really, the people who are out there, those, so I'm not really too much concerned about that. But I do.
We were increased by 30%.
Which
after
is
last
fine. No, I'm not even touching that. The other divisions, though, right after that, what is because there's several. The canine division went down, which is fine. On page 36,
One retired.
one retired. We need to get it back. On page 36, community policing went up.
Those are the community police officers who come to the homeowners association meetings and deal directly with the individual zones.
I know, but it went up almost $100-something thousand. Did we get?
Is that through
Joy-
equipment?
No. This is just the salary.
Merit increases and COLAs through the collective bargaining agreement,
But we didn't add any more bodies. It's just that went up.
just those.
Okay, so
No, you also have a large increase in equipment rental. We'll get you a breakdown
okay,
in that
that's
particular
under
division.
community policing administration.
And administration.
Because that's
yes.
almost $600,000 increase. So the other one, community, okay, that one is fine.
That's three.
Crime Watch, we only have one
Councilman, that's
person.
400, the one part you were discussing, I'm sorry, I'm just going through.
Yes,
the
sir.
It's almost 400,000 in
Yes.
the vehicle maintenance.
That's under, on
Under
page
community-
36?
Under community policing, following under the administration, yes, sir,
So 441.
correct.
That's the
I
num-
see.
that's the
Yes,
number, yeah.
yes, I
That's the
see
number.
that. So what is that? Because I had a question mark by it. Thank you for bringing that to my attention, the 390.
That's gonna be fuel, all the different things associated with the vehicle repairs.
So how did we do that in previous year? Because the number is way, way down.
I believe what they do, just based on my knowledge of the past, they take the fleet cost and divide it by all the different departments.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, for example, 2018, it was 48,000. So what did they do differently in this budget?
In this budget, sir, the 441s are always the equipment maintenance. I'm gonna say it was moved from another department, and the vehicles have been moved over to this division, not another department, but division within the police department.
So
you
all of
just see
them?
it as
Is it all of them or is only that department?
No, it's the police vehicles.
No, I know, but I'm saying, is it that division, community policing only?
Community policing, yes, that would be community policing
No,
only.
well, no, I think if you take the entire department,
Yes.
look at 441.
Exactly.
The total expenditure, we added all up for you, and that's the analysis we'll give you, was all there in the
You're a
prior year.
budget person, George. So,
This
okay,
division it didn't have, there was no allocation in '09.
in
which is- no, excuse me,
last year,
19,
19, yes.
Which looks to me, it was probably somewhere else and not.
It
zero.
was.
Yeah.
But to me, and George, through you, Mr. Manager, you might be able to help me understand it. I understand that explanation, but how do we go from 28,000, 29,000, 48,000, and then last year was a blank, which we don't know what that is. But this year is 390,000.
Which page? is
I'm
that?
on page 36, police, community policing administration. We are looking at equipment rental. And, yeah, code, the code is 441. So is that all of the police department equipment rental here?
You will have 441 in pretty much
All of them.
all the
But
departments.
in the
yeah.
next two, one immediately, Crime Watch, Police, they don't have none under under equipment rental. So I'm trying to see, did we
I
move
think
all of them
in-
together?
No. What we need to do is give you a breakdown, and we'll provide this in some of the follow-up. We'll give you a breakdown of the 441 in police by decision unit, so you understand where it was budgeted last year versus this year.
So, but we don't have that amount last year,
You do, in total you do, yes.
and we
In
don't
the
know.
department, yeah, the department total was,
Department total last for,
Talking to you,
well,
Mike.
this year's budget.
In the mic,
One
yeah,
point three million.
1.3,
I'm sorry.
mm-hmm,
Last year, the amount for 2018 was
Okay.
1.375 million.
okay. And then this
And
year,
the budget for this year is 1.334.
okay.
However,
So-
next year, it increases because they have, they
No,
got a
no,
number
I
of new
understand, Ms.
vehicles.
Morgan. I kind of get the answer to my question. So this is a snapshot of the entire department budget, so it's not the whole department, it's just community policing, that's 390.
what you're going through are the decision units detail.
Right.
So it's almost like a
Okay.
a sub-department or a section or a unit within the department.
Okay,
So that's why you,
all right.
you see all the change.
Let's just move on to page 37. What, page 38 is my next one, is the Crime Watch. Okay, that's fine. Animal control is down, okay. I'm looking because I made notation. Okay, so uniform, services for traffic. What is that? On page 39,
Traffic unit, sir?
okay. So where is that?
Those are our traffic safety officers.
No, yes, Chief. No, I know, I'm Xing budget because, it's blank on our page. I know you gave me an explanation,
You don't
but
have that page here.
it's under a different account or what? It's that and also for communications.
I don't have that page.
That all the way up to page 42, including the police support services.
Oh. It's just a change in the decision.
Okay, but those were moved somewhere? Yes,
It was in 427 previously, and now it's in a new decision
and then
unit.
you just, okay. So that will bring us to page 42 at the bottom. That's fine. That's fine, that is, okay, that is fine. Also, this is, I'm going real, so all of these, just for the record, Chief, are different division within the department. The investigation, the crime analysis, and all this and all that.
Different sections and
Different
different units.
section within that. Okay, okay, this, my favorite one, page 46. What is a quartermaster?
Quartermaster,
Educate me, please.
quartermaster, they work out of our property room. They deal directly with the evidence that comes in, as well as court requirements, as well as the utilization of forensics to test firearms, anything dealing with property that comes in or property that's returned by our police department, either to the courts or to individuals.
Got it. So how did we go up from 270 to 359?
I'm sorry, say again, sir?
No, I'm saying, how did we go up from 270 last year to this new proposed 359, almost 360? Did we hire new people or? That's $89,000,
That was
page 46.
Some of it was our purchase of our tasers, our less
Okay.
lethal weapons.
Mm-hmm. So that would be under the equipment, okay. So is that the 84 from equipment 312? I'm sorry, 313?
313.
Would
Yes,
that be
sir.
it? Okay. Thank you. Moving on, page 47. Okay, never mind there. There was something with the uniform I had X. Like one person, no, that wasn't the quarter part. It was something with the uniform. No, I don't think it was, there was like one person that does the uniform.
We had that discussion during the, sorry.
Yeah, doing our briefing.
When we were talking about the quartermaster's office, that's what I was explaining to you, what he.
Okay, so that person does not do is there one person, because under uniform, I think it says uniform, there was one person, that's all they do? Was that,
Quartermaster distributes the uniforms to all the officers.
oh.
They keep track of all the equipment that's issued, whether it's a firearm, whether it's a less lethal weapon.
okay, so it's addition to, because you said something about the court, so it's the court and that, is that what?
Quartermaster.
I understand,
Okay.
but what is his description of that I got? He said something earlier about them doing something with the court and doing all that, blase, blase, that was that. Yeah, because it's a lot of terminology. But then he said, I said, he said, is that person also responsible for the distribution of uniform? Because that was my question in that budget. You shaking your head, Ron, Mr. Brown, is that?
Quartermaster handles both.
Okay, thank
But
you, that's all I wanted to
When
know.
you say a quartermaster, it's somebody who does property
Mm-hmm.
to and from, and then they also supply uniforms.
They
as a
also
secondary
manage the
responsibility.
uniform. Okay, I just didn't, okay, never mind, because I'm like,
We have two in there. We have a
okay, no.
full-time and a part-time.
I understand that. I just did not think that one person all their job is uniform. Just hand because you do that once, however, you understand what I'm saying?
They work together.
I understand, but that's not their job. They have more to their job description with that.
Correct.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So from 719 to 880, which is the total, another little thing there. So overall, I'm just asking to get clarification because the bottom line is when I look at is the grand total. So the grand total I'm decent about with the exception of these because it went down from last year to this year. So I'm okay with that overall. So I just wanted to get those. CPND. You talked about, Mr. Manager, thank you, Chief. You talked about economic development is in here, I'm assuming. The total, so that went up, and your explanation was the Golden Silver Senior Program. On page 351, I think number 312 should be instead of special department supplies, it should actually, I don't know how we could recode that way. It reflect, this is what I'm saying, this is what you're saying for the NOMI Golden, this is for the senior program.
The senior program.
Because-
that's the general ledger account we use. I mean,
Okay.
Well,
No, that's fine, but I
Okay.
think when you do this, you could have put right next to social service in parentheses.
a little note to say
Because
what it
when you
is.
have special departmental supplies, and you're really talking about a budget for an entire program.
Correct.
Somebody looking at that does not know. They'll say, what is the departmental supplies that's,
We're approving the allocation right now as we discussed, because we'll be splitting it, and this is the
Yes.
portion of the two.
Okay.
So when we do that split and we set up the account, we will better
will-
identify
what's what.
what's what in
So
the accounts.
the 1.6 and 4.3 is all of the social service, everything that's in
Yes,
there.
correct.
Pretending. All right, thank you. Moving on to, what's that next one? Thank you, Mr. George, Public Works. There's a whole bunch of stuff in here I don't know, but there's some that just jumped out. The equipment rental again, the 441.
same thing that we talked about with police.
Yeah, but, I mean, it keep on going up. It went from 11,000 to 35,000, so that's a concern there. That's a big jump. So however, whatever that we need to do there, if we talking about cutting, and especially we talking about the residents paying, we gotta make sure that this is kosher, because it's a lot, it's a big jump, and I understand the explanation to it. I didn't really see much there, because all of them kinda, when we went over it, it kinda aligned. It wasn't a big jump that said anything. Ms. Morgan, when we had our meeting, everything kinda aligned with Public Works. Because again, the bottom line
Went down.
would be there was my biggest question mark was with the CIP, the clean team. So that was, it went down tremendously, and I had an explanation for that. And 441 again. So this 441 is it's a concern, and we need to figure out, I guess your explanation was, what is it?
Those are our fleet, our fleet costs citywide. So we can give you I guess a better individual breakdown so you can see what it is. I mean, the vehicles and those
Yeah.
costs. But I think it'd probably be better to give it to you on a citywide basis so you can
That's
kind of see.
fine.
Okay.
Because when
Because
you
it
look
is an
at,
allocation. at
on
the end of
page
the day.
57, if you looking at this budget, the first thing that jumped to you, that's why you can't say without knowing the explanation of these jump that this budget is okay, because last year we were at 1,900, and then the proposed for this is 272, so that's $70,000. That's $270,000 increase.
Sorry,
Page-
page 57.
Page 57, 441. That's storm drain, construction and repair equipment rental.
That's just your detail equipment.
$270,000.
Overall, the actual,
Page 57.
Good.
Let me-
Who's gonna-
With
Yes.
Superior Lewis Public Works is just the cost for new equipment, maintenance of new equipment.
I know, but, okay, I'm lost. So last year, we didn't have that cost.
Not in that division, no. Well, no, you didn't have it. It was a small budget, but what you've been spending the last few years, particularly
Been low.
18, it was low.
So all of a sudden, this year, we want to buy equipment for 270?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why and what are we buying?
There, we can give you a more detailed list.
Please
However,
do so.
it's-
What'd you say?
No, I say please do so. He said he could give me a list.
okay,
You'll give it to me?
I'll give it to you.
Okay, they'll give it to me. So that, I'm okay, because we got to move on. Okay, the other one, so the
Actually, and this will answer as you go through the remainder of the book. We'll give you that breakdown for all the 441s citywide, so you'll have the
but
detail.
that would be a little bit confusing. I do want it citywide, but I would like for it to be breakdown
Yeah,
per
broken down.
department.
Yeah.
Okay,
Broken down by department,
then-
so you'll have a more of a detail of what.
okay, because I think that's gonna be the biggest, because all of a sudden to just come out and say we're buying stuff for $270,000, not knowing what it is, I gotta know what we're buying and what it is. The other one, so the clean team, it went down, is that a move, or what happened from 157 to 23,000? The last line on page 57.
through the manager, it's the movement of the clean team to the code department.
Okay, so they are there, that line item was just moved to code, okay, got it, thank you. Office of Budget and Management, we didn't have much, the explanation, Ms. Morgan, you gave it to me for the first line item, so that's fine. We'll move forward. Parks and Rec. My concern, it wasn't really major. The first one was, again, the 441 line item. In Parks and Rec, everything kind of looked a little bit decent. But now we are talking about the quality of life of residents. These are folks who are giving services and direct services to the folks. So I don't see that freezing their $53,000 from part-time. That I know there's a lot of part-time, but 53,000 is a dent in when we looked at that. My concern with this particular, I guess, budget, and I mentioned it to you, Mr. Manager, is what do we do at these community centers who are not serving the community? They close throughout the day, or someone not there. And in the past, and Mr. Sorry, you would know this very well, we had a Rec 2 that would be at these stations. And I believe Keystone is the only place that we do have a Rec 2. I don't know if what's her, if she's a Rec 2, whatever the case is. The other ones we don't, and JCC, I believe, because I know Annalise was at, right?
Right.
You have someone permanent there, I'm assuming.
Joe Sellers
Yes.
Center?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there's a permanent.
So
there's a
you
permanent
have
person.
the other ones. I don't know. Griffin, I don't think have anyone yet.
There's not a I'm sorry,
Mhm.
through the manager, Derek Walker, Parks and Recreation. There's not a full-timer at Griffin at the moment.
Okay, that's the problem. I know. I know. So Griffin, Sunkist Grove.
Sunkist.
Sunkist has
So
a
with all
full-time.
these people, Mr. Manager, you got to find to put people there.
So you and I had a conversation
Mhm.
when we talked, and I'm working with the Parks Director to look at that operational plan that you and I
Because
discussed.
when we talk about, because looking at this budget, there's nothing in here for the residents, and we asking them to pay more. So that's my biggest concern. So if the community centers are not open, or they don't have access to them, that's a concern to me. I went there for a meeting. It's 8:00 somewhere. I went there for a meeting in the middle of the day, and it wasn't open. Because the person there is a driver, so we cannot have that because that's not serving the community. You had kids out, you have after school. So those are the little things that we can't be, hurting the residents and then everything else looking all good. So that's not too good there. But other than that, I was kind of surprised. We don't have gymnastic anymore. So why do we have, I don't think we do, why do we have an operation for gymnastic? The gymnasium, I guess that's gymnasium.
What page?
Is that the page 56? Is that the one in off North Miami
56?
across?
The gymnasium.
Yeah, the
we don't have
gymnasium.
gymnastics. That's correct,
That-
sir. We do have two
the gymnasium.
gymnasiums, which is
Is that the one by North Miami?
Cagney,
Okay.
Cagney Gymnasium, and also Joe Celestine Gymnasium.
Okay, and that's just the keep up of those, the keep up of those are 43,
Correct. Maintenance is
the maintenance.
most of our facilities, if not probably half of them, are about 40 years old or close to our 40-year
Okay.
recertification. So it is the operations of maintenance for those buildings and upkeep of those facilities.
While I have you here, Mr. Corker, quick question. Why did we went down on athletics?
There has been a decrease in services for some of the athletic programs. We don't have as many athletic programs as we could, or that we offer at the current moment.
Okay. Sasso Pool, operation, I don't even know if that, so that went down. Why?
We had to cut the budget a little, so.
So what did we cut?
On some of the operations, hours of operations for the pool.
Okay,
So
that's
we're
not gonna
reducing some of
happen.
the
Thank you,
hours.
sir. Mr. Manager, that's another concern. We cannot be looking at the budget where we are impacting residents. So if we are cutting the pool, we only have one swimming pool in this whole city, which is already bad enough. So that's why I can't wait, Mr. Mayor, for the new pool to go up. We're cutting hours there. The recreation is cutting hours. Your budget was the one that I was looking at to be beefing up, the thing, because that and police. Because those two departments are because we don't have the social service up and running yet, that's actually touching the people, the residents. So the fact that we are cutting from these, it's a really, really concern. We need to find out other source in this budget to cut. We cannot, first of all, it's adequate the way it was. We needed more adding to it. So we got to do something there. So that's just my little concern there. The same thing, the tennis went down $10,000. So those are not programs when we are cutting that we should be cutting. The Griffin Center, again, $67,000 less. So that's a problem, because the Sunkist Grove, I know I know somebody really didn't do too, because it went from 80,000 to 35. Now y'all know that y'all wrong for that. I mean, I didn't know if y'all think I wasn't gonna see that, but page 68. So how do you go down on 101? So is that one person that they had, or an additional person? And that's what I'm talking about when I said the place is closed, because these are the people that's essential to the public. At least they open the place. They ain't got to do nothing, but they open it. Somebody could go, the homeowners or somebody could go and have a meeting, or the kids could go after school there. But if y'all cutting on those people.
Well, I'm looking at Sunkist. Yeah, we have a decrease in one full-timer, but we do have increased hours actual to the budget for outside wages. So that's part.
No. Page 68,
Yeah, I'm looking
101.
at 68.
101.
Yeah, that's no. No, that's what I'm saying. There is a cut of a part-time. I agree with you.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm saying. So we got to fix. I thought we were saying it wasn't. So we got to fix that. So that's another concern. Griffin again, the same thing from 218 to 191. I don't think that should be the same thing. Keystone is not too much of a cut, but it's still a decrease. So we should not be cutting these centers, because that's the only place people go to. People don't even want to come to City Hall. So if we cutting their stuff, then we really trying to send them the wrong message to the residents. So park operation again, 85. Okay, that's fine. This is going down. Vehicle maintenance, that's down. Vehicle maintenance, that's fine. See, vehicle maintenance went. The stadium operation went down again. So I'm not too thrilled. Vehicle maintenance from 49 to 94. I guess that's the total that you'll be getting me, Mr. Manager. I'm almost done, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. DeSume?
You have
Yes,
plenty of time.
yes.
While we have Mr. Corker here, can I
Yes,
ask for two
absolutely,
line items
please, go
while you're
on.
here? Just save some time. Why did equipment rental go from, like, actual of 8,400 or 48,000? What are we renting?
Which line? I'm sorry, Councilman. I'm sorry, Councilman.
Equipment rent on page 62.
441, that's the 441 account.
Operational of multiple equipment. Sometime, again, as I said, the buildings are a little older in tooth. We have to keep maintenance on those facilities as best as we can. We have a lot of work orders for the facilities. So at times we don't own the equipment. We need to rent the equipment to make sure that we can keep the buildings up and running.
So that went up. What happened to outside wages at Penny Sugarman Tennis Center? Outside wages went from 350 to 5,200.
Penny Sugarman?
301, line 67, outside wages.
I mentioned that,
You mentioned it went down, but I'm looking at it's like
0.
301s?
What page?
Yeah, that's a revenue.
That's a change in how we show the expenses.
so. Okay, so the outside wages.
It's being offset by the revenue.
But this is just an expense line.
Correct. In the past, it was all operated from the tennis pros. Even the tennis pros were getting paid out of the 301
see.
account. We have moved the 301, the tennis pros, to their own separate account.
Okay,
where
thank you.
now you only have the 301s, which is the part-time employees.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you, Councilman.
no problem, Vice Mayor. So right-of-way operation again. So it went down almost 200,000. Is that the transfer of a department, of some folks, Mr. Manager, somebody? This is, I'm sorry, page 73. It's got Enchanted Forest.
The tree right, is that, I'm sorry, Councilman.
yes,
Is that
sir.
the tree maintenance, the
Mhm.
tree right of ways? Yes, that's the services that is transferred to Public Works,
Got
which
it.
was the tree maintenance.
Got it. My biggest concern with this is, Enchanted Forest went down tremendously. From 229 to 165, so what is that? Is that a cut of a part-time or somebody, or a operation? What happened?
It's a freeze of one of the full-time employees, which was the additional park naturalist.
Yeah, see, we don't need to be freezing those positions. Those are not, I mean, if you ask me, I might have some, but those are not the position that we need to be freezing, a park nationalist who does certain, yeah, those are not that we have in mind. Okay.
Mr. DeSolme, through the mayor and you to Mr. Corker, will you still have Ms. Heasley as the park naturalist?
Yes, Councilman Galvin, we do have Mrs. Heasley. We did advertise for the park naturalist. We didn't get a vast amount of applicants at the time, and once we surveyed the applicants, there were none that were suited for what we were looking for.
So if you freeze it right now, what's your plan to address that moving forward? Will you re-advertise in 6 months, or?
We would like to, sir. We would like to do a national search. We can go on the NRPA, which is the National Parks and Recreation Association. That would give us a broader scale for more participants to look at the job application and apply for the park naturalist. Again, the naturalist is a specialization type of position. It's not like a regular
It's not a park
recreation. Yeah,
attendant.
it's not like a park attendant. So
Right.
there's specializations that you need to have with the park naturalist.
And if we've frozen this position now and in 6 months you find somebody spectacular, operationally, how do you handle that? Do you come back and ask us to unfreeze it, or? Okay.
But, Councilman Galvin, I think this is their proposal to us, so I don't think we could accept it or making it, because my recommendation is that's not one that we do freeze. I don't think any of these positions with parks that we do freeze. Now, however the mayor would want to do that, we could give that, you know, it's up to us, because this is his proposed budget to us. So I really don't think that's one, the Parks and Rec, the essential thing to the resident that we need to freeze when we talk about freezing anything. There's a lot I would like to freeze, but it's not here. Non-departmental, it's a little bit, we talked about it, Mr. Manager, because a lot of things that we don't see line items is kind of crammed up in non-departmental, because that's where you could, I don't want to use the word, I'm not going to use that word, but that's where you put a lot of stuff. I don't want to put it. But my concern is that in that, I just need an overall, I don't want to go line by line, because we already did that. I'm not sure, because it's one page, and I believe it's probably more, but it's almost $3 million from last year. So what is that offset?
All of that is, sorry, sir, all of that is related to us adding back to the reserve.
Okay, so I know it's complicated. MOCA don't really have anything, so,
Question,
yes, sir.
what did you say you did with the $2 million?
He said it's the reserve.
The difference is associated with us adding back to the reserve. Remember, in prior years, we'd have a funding source to deal with this. Now we're having to budget for it.
So
Where
that's-
were the
reserve
funding,
amounts.
where were the funding source?
We'd have the surplus that we roll over from the prior year.
All right, thank you, sir. MOCA, the only thing is, and I think I had a good explanation for it, was the The increase, is that the COLA? Because it's not a big of an increase. Is that what it is, Ms. Morgan? Is it the COLA from, for them?
Yes, yes, from the 128 to the 135,
Okay,
yes.
Okay.
COLAs and merits.
okay, thank you, ma'am. Wait, there is, so there's almost a $200,000 increase. Why is that?
Shauna Sheldon, MOCA Director, through the manager. That is for program grants that support the critical exhibitions that we are doing and the support that we need to make that happen.
Okay, so again, that's something directly you could tie in with the public. So that, I guess that would be under line item well, I guess that's a transfer, no, that's not a transfer. Is it?
One,
Okay.
under specialized services, it says MOCA program grants, and you see it was nine sixty-four, and
It's
it's
one something.
one something now.
No problem. Building and zoning, I guess building by itself. 101. So the 50, it's not 50, but approximately 50 in 101 on page 83. Is that COLA again?
745 and 794.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay. 745 to 794.
COLAs and merits.
In merits. Okay, advertising, 10,000. Why, what is that?
That's dealing, Steve Bizzol, building director through the manager, that is dealing with our floodplain. That's-
On what?
We're advertising for floodplain.
Okay, so we didn't do that this year? We didn't advertise this year?
It was in other departments, now it's in my department.
Oh, okay. All right, got it. Training, I guess that's regular training. So is that the same thing, the board and commission? I know I asked you about that. You said,
Unsafe Structures Board.
okay, but do the other boards get similar amount? Operating costs from different
From different departments, whoever
departments.
the liaison
Okay.
department is.
I got it, okay. So a total of the 203, where is that coming from? The 203, the difference from last year to this year, the bulk of that is, what is that, the difference? I'm on page 84.
The main increase is
Outside
additional personnel, and let me explain to you why. Every year, we're audited by two organizations, ISO and CRS, and one of the things they do is they look at the workload that my inspectors do, my licensed individuals do. If it goes over a certain level, our rating goes down, and the insurance, property insurance and flood insurance for the community goes up.
Oh, Lord.
And right now, we're on a critical where we're starting to go over the limit.
This is, and you recall last year, we were able to, remember we had to appeal and go through a process. I think we informed you through that process, we were able to maintain, we were hit by 5%, but we were able to maintain our flood insurance for our citizens, the discount, excuse me, the flood insurance discount.
Let
for
me
our
ask
citizens.
this. When we had cap government, how did that play with the operational?
That in
Cor-
particular?
Well, not that particular in terms, but overall with the department.
Last year, there was an operating savings of about 1.45 million.
Oh, okay, really, from the year
The
before to now? Okay, because that's
Can I
always
say
been-
something?
Yes.
Not clap yet.
Yes.
Before, when we had, now if people are waiting 3
Well,
to
yeah.
4 months in order
That
to
was-
get an inspection.
They were waiting with them also.
I understand, but now it's more. For example, if you have an electrician, they only have one electrician. If the guy doesn't come for 1 week, that means there is no inspection for that week. There's a lot of issues at that department. If you guys keep clapping, man, you're gonna have a lot of problem. We have one plumber. If the plumber is on vacation, there is no inspection. Businesses, people from realtors and are calling left and right. They have to wait for 4 5 months in order to get an inspection done. and someone is sick and there is no inspection, they have one person. That means it's worse now than before.
I would favor expanding that department and
Yes.
adding more money for more people, but
I
not
understand that.
privatizing.
We're not talking about privatizing,
No.
but when you
Capital
say they're
private.
doing better now than before, I don't agree with
Yeah,
you guys.
whichever, Councilman Galvin, and I agree, however, the mayor is correct because I have had some discussion, and Mr. Pizzillo, I guess it's an overall more service because you do hear from these folks, and I could give you some specifically, not here tonight. Tomorrow I'll tell you about two that I could, their concerns, and it's just a longer time, but that's basically that. Thank you so much, sir. Code 85, code compliance, code
Can
enforcement.
I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Mr., before I go further, can I ask you a question about the building department? Right now, from what I understand, you have only one electrician, one plumber, and one, how many do you have?
We have two, we currently have an electrical chief and a electrical inspector.
You have two. Mm-hmm.
Plumbing, we have an individual on call. We have a plumbing chief and an on-call. The only service that we have where we're down to one individual is mechanical.
Okay, where all those complaints are coming from? People calling stated that they have to wait sometime 3 months before they can get an inspection done.
Inspections are done next day, next business day.
What do you mean next week?
I've never heard where 3 months for an inspection. We sometimes do inspections same day. When people call up and they have a problem, we go out there and do same day inspections.
Unless you're doing it with favoritism, that's when people who have connection to the building department can get it done the next day. But I have other people calling and said that they have to wait weeks before they can get an inspection. Sometimes they call, they said they're coming tomorrow, and then the next day, and we call them and said, no, the person is on vacation or the person is sick, we don't have another person to go out and do the job.
In rare occasions, if an inspector does call in sick, sometimes we can't get an on-call person on, but that's limited to two specialties.
Okay, right. Okay, next time I ask the mayor and council that we record all the people that call in about those inspection and
And Mr. Mayor,
a lot of people are calling, especially we have realtors, we have contractors calling and complaining about inspection they cannot get done. Yes.
I was gonna say, this to me sounds like a constituent case management problem or situation. We often get legitimate complaints, then sometimes we get residents who are complaining, but their contractor actually never scheduled the appointment and blamed it on the city, so the resident is mad at the city when they should be mad at their contractor. But I think in every department, when a mayor or council member sends in a request, whether it's email, phone, but somebody needs to hop on that immediately, because when it's just left to linger, then the resident gets more and more angry and we hear more and more stuff. So this is certainly not, your department actually is pretty good with me. I won't name the couple of departments that are bad, but I
yeah,
think.
but understand, when you call, they're good with me, but I'm talking about the resident that call and the contractor that just go to the department and ask for an inspection. Another problem they say they have, Mr. Director, it's look like when they say they want to talk to you, like a resident or a contractor, they cannot get access to you unless the regular person cannot get access to the building director. And please, can you be open to everyone?
I hand out I hand my cell phone number out, and actually you can, Councilman
Okay.
Decimay has, I
Yes.
told him to
No,
give
I'm
out
not
my
talking
cell
about
phone.
councilman, I'm talking about the
No, no,
regular citizen.
Told him to give my cell phone to his constituents.
Okay.
And I do answer that phone.
Making sure
Yeah.
every resident have access to you when they
Yeah,
want to talk
and
to you, please.
every person in your department and in the other departments should be more responsive to a resident who calls in, and they're their boss, they're paying their salary, treat them like that, and I mean that through the manager to every department. Too often I hear of unfriendly staff people didn't give good information, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, it's Dukes, yeah. No, but genuinely, like, I think that would, rather than spend more money for more staff, which may be warranted in this situation, it also could be addressed if the existing staff members jumped on complaints.
And out of fairness to Mr. Pizzillo, I have given residents, and he has been to their house. He's very good at that. I do have the same concerns, though, which I've shared with other big business, not the regular homeowner. The regular homeowner, I give them to bug you, but some of them, they just send emails. So I guess that's something that we got to do overall better at, because I did say, I see cell phone allowance for everyone, the departments and the directors. And I said this to you, Mr. Manager, you are one of the people that everybody have your cell phone, because that's what we pay you for. If a director does not want a resident to call them, then they don't need to have a cell phone allowance. That's just that, or they don't need to have the cell phone, because this is not a private entity. This is a public, we at the rate of the residents. I think we need to know that they are our boss, and we need to keep that in mind. Thank you, Mr. Pizzillo.
I don't have a cell phone allowance.
Oh, well, you need to get one. No, definitely, because I've given it out to so many different people. So no, that we need to definitely look into. Code enforcement. It kind of look okay. It's a little change. I guess it's the different departments the different people that's been going into code enforcement. From my understanding, the transfer.
You have a couple things. The biggest change is the issue of sanitation now being monitored by Mr. Laurafels. So that increase in costs associated with our contract,
Okay.
and the clean team that's also in there.
Okay, and I want to go by just to make sure. So, account 311, the consulting that
Yeah, in sanitation
that's
services.
60,000 more. What is that?
Wait, which division are you in, sir? Sorry.
I am on code enforcement 85, page 85.
I think that's your
Account
special
3. Is that what that is?
No, sir. Crystal Cordo, Code
Mhm.
Manager. That is for lot maintenance, special assessments.
Wait, a what?
Special
So,
assessments.
you know how, and you've had some of these, where somebody has an overgrown lot, will get
Yes.
a call. That's
Why I'm shocked when
Yeah.
she said that we have money, because I have one right now, and I told you about it, Arthur, on 132nd and 9th Avenue. If these people call me one time, it's horrible. And you know what I'm talking about, Miss Cordo, right by Nancy's house. It's crazy. There's always a crazy truck, and now they got people put mattresses and stuff
that's
on
why.
there, and that's like right in the middle of two homes. So we got to look out for that. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. The other one is the outside wages, the 156.
That's the clean team, sir.
Which I understand, but we just need to, because it says outside wages, so it doesn't say clean team. So somebody looking at that, they would not, thank you. They would not know exactly what that is.
number are you on?
Page 86, Mr. Mayor, on 301, it says outside wages. And then this
Okay, you
equipment thing,
put,
so that's the cleaning
yeah,
team that they
just a
had.
quick, I don't wanna miss that, the calculation is based on is based on 20
29
hours.
hours,
Okay.
29 hours.
Okay, we really want to find a way to increase that, to keep it at 29 hours, and
It is 29, right?
no, it's 20, it's
20.
budgeted,
29.
29.
it's 29 hours?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, not 20 hours. You sure?
No, I asked them.
It's 20 hours or
29.
29 hours?
I believe it is 20 hours.
It's
based on
20,
the
hou-
calculations
sorry?
that we have. I believe it is 20 hours.
20
mean
hours,
20?
okay. I'm telling,
I
okay.
believe it was reduced.
Wait a minute.
Okay, we're gonna fix it at 29 hours. It's 20 hours in the
It's-
budget
it's
now,
20 or
in the proposed budget.
I apologize. That
It is
Okay.
20?
it is 20.
Okay, consider it
Okay.
29 hours.
I'm
We're
glad,
gonna, we have to.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Okay.
Okay.
Can-
The other one, so there, I guess the transfer kind of, of course, because I'm almost done throughout the entire budget. Library, page 87. My biggest concern, is Miss Lucia here? I know she was here. Hey, how are you? Good evening, ma'am. My biggest concern is we're not getting much support from there. Again, 631, the books. And I understand the explanation for that, but I cannot let this injustice go by, because one thing. I know the ratio of per thing capital that we're supposed to get is approximately 3.7, and I think like one under. So we way below the number of people technically we think who live in the city based on the books that we have. So I don't know how we've been, you know, I remember one year, Ms. Brown, is she still here?